You're wondering why there was no episode on Tuesday. Well, unfortunately, the RSS feed I have to pay because I only get a certain amount of hours that I can upload. And I didn't have any more hours up until today, unfortunately. But what I will do is I will make sure the next month there is enough hours, for one. And for number two, we are going back to 3 episodes a week. I felt like I was moving a lot faster doing 3 episodes a week. Anyhow, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today we're here to talk about Teach the Geek. Mr. Neil Thompson. What a gentleman. He's a great person to talk to. Look, he took the time out of his day to come and talk to me to talk about public speaking. He's giving me some pointers, courses I can seek out. Because I was telling him that before I had a job where I was good at talking in front of people. But I don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened. I said it on the podcast. I said it on the episode. I do know what happened. Is you get lazy. That's what happens. Laziness. I stopped. Well, it's not that I was lazy either. It's just my job didn't require me to talk in front of people. But the previous, my job that I have currently, but the previous job that I had before that one did require a lot of talking. But anyhow, I don't want to bore you in this and that. Just go ahead and listen to him. He gives great pointers on how to get good at talking with people and what courses to take. So again, what a wonderful person he is. Let me introduce to you guys Neil Thompson. His Instagram handle @_teachthegeek_. So without further ado, I present to you the great and wonderful Neil Thompson. Today we are talking to a gentleman known as Tech the Geek. He is known as Uncle Neil. So today we are talking to Teach the Geek podcast. Geek, author of Ask Uncle Neil. Why is his hair curly? AskUncleNeil.com. So he does have a YouTube channel. His YouTube is Teach the Geek. So check out his YouTube channel on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. Let's support him like we would with anybody else. Come on, let's do it, people. So I know my episodes are been, I don't know what's been going on lately, but today I wanted to talk to him because I'm struggling with my public speaking. I don't know what it is. Sometimes there's days that I'm very, very comfortable, but there's other days that I just can't seem to find myself, whether on how to talk in public. I had a job previously where I would talk in front of groups of people of 30, and I would do a whole presentation and I'd be fine. And I got fired from that job, and then I don't know what happened, and everything went down the drain. And so now I'm just looking for my mojo again, where I can learn to talk to people. So that's why I decided since he's a master on public speaking, I want to know tricks. I want to know how I can improve my public speaking abilities. But anyhow, let's see. Let's give him a call, see how he's doing, and we'll go from there. So again, his podcast name is Teach the Geek.
Hey everybody, Neil Thompson from Teach the Geek. I just got done with another interview. It'll be up in the upcoming weeks. But to check out any of the older interviews, youtube.teachthegeek.com.
All right, so let's give him a call, see how he's doing. And let's see, are we having technical difficulties getting a hold of him? I don't know. Let's find out. There he is. How's it going?
Can you?
I'm doing well.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear you for nothing, man. How you doing? My name is Oscar. What's your name again? I didn't even get your name, man. I'm sorry.
It's Neil Thompson.
Neil Thompson. Okay, I was right then. Because I was looking at your Instagram. I was like, Neil. Okay, I wasn't too sure, but I was right. Okay, I apologize. I'm Oscar, by the way.
Good to meet you, Oscar.
Nice to meet you. Now, I'm fairly new to this. I don't have a big platform, but I'm trying to make a big. I'm trying to make a big platform, and I'm just gonna jump right into the subject, which is public speaking. Right, that's what you deal with, and
Okay.
I struggle a lot with when I think about how many people could possibly listen to this, and I don't know how to get over that. Even though I feel like I more or less have gotten over that barrier of where I feel embarrassed to talk in front of people, if that's the right term.
Okay.
How do you get over that hurdle?
Well, I mean, it's really difficult to get over anything without doing it. There's really no shortcut to it. You can read all the books, you can listen to all the podcasts, you can take all the advice, but you don't get better at public speaking unless you do it. So you have to get the reps in. You have to get out there and actually speak in front of people. And with time, I won't say that you won't be nervous with time. You'll still probably be nervous. You'll just develop ways to manage your nerves, like I did. But with time, you will certainly get better at it.
Definitely, for sure, right? Practice makes perfect.
Practice makes progress.
Practice makes progress. There you go. That's a better way to put it. So as far as it goes with when for me, I don't have any other platform, or I don't do anything else other than what I'm doing right now. And I've recently gotten into trading, but I'm struggling with the speaking part. So that's why I kind of was looking to somebody in your realm, like to see how more or less how you think and how what I can learn from you, so I can carry it on for to make myself better. You know, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Oh, for sure. I mean, when it came to, at least for me with public speaking, it wasn't something that I've always been proficient at. In fact, the motivation for me getting better was I was working in corporate America, so I worked as an engineer, and I had to give presentations every month in front of management. And those first few presentations were absolutely horrendous. I mean, I was sweating through all my clothes, and I wasn't putting enough effort into learning what the audience actually wanted to know from me. And I was just getting up there and using a whole bunch of technical jargon that no one in the audience understood. I had a bunch of slides that I would just read, so I wasn't even connecting with the audience. And eventually, I knew I had to get better, because the questions I would get after my presentations, I thought I had answered during the presentation. But because I didn't present the information in a way that the audience could take in, I was having to answer these questions. And I saw that it was a waste of my time, it was a waste of their time, it was just a complete waste. So I certainly eventually saw the utility in getting better in public speaking.
Right. Yeah. For me, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I've moved backwards. Because back in 2012, I had a job where I would work in an office. I would receive all the new hires. And mind you, this company where I work at, this warehouse, they would hire up to 20, 30 people at a time. And I remember I would sit in front of the crowd and do my whole presentation, all the slides. Obviously, at first it was hard, but I remember a couple of months down the road, I felt confidence. I felt like I was good at it. I felt like I didn't have any problems talking to in front of people I've never met, like directing, giving them guidance or giving them instructions. I didn't have any problems doing that. When I left that job, after I did that, I felt like I took a step backwards. I didn't even want to talk to anybody, not even my friends. I don't understand what happened with me, that after leaving that position that I had, the way I would handle myself, the way I would carry myself in front of people, I would find it really, really hard. I wouldn't know what to say. My tongue would get stuck, and I don't know what came from that, because I feel like I moved backwards. Don't you think?
Well, I guess you can look at public speaking like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. So the job that you had, it requires you to give these presentations in front of people, and so you essentially you rose to the challenge. And also with the reps that you had to do, with the having to do it as part of your job, you automatically got better with it over time. And then when you left that job, and obviously you weren't giving these presentations anymore, I guess that public speaking muscle kind of, I guess, got weaker, and so that's how you ended up now not being as proficient at it as you once were. It's something that you kind of have to continuously do to kind of stay sharp.
I see. I understand everything you're telling me, but for me, it's not weird. I guess I just get lazy myself. I that's what I honestly should call it, because I feel like I take a step back. Because again, last week I felt comfortable making videos and talking, and I stopped for a couple of days, and now I find it hard to get ideas of what I'm gonna say in the video that I want to make. And I don't understand why I keep doing that thing, just going backwards instead of keep moving forward. Because I feel like I take 5 steps forward and I take 10 back, literally.
Yeah. I mean, it can very well be, I guess, a consistency thing. So staying with the exercise analogy, it's much easier to exercise consistently than to do it and then stop for a while and start back up. Starting back up is way more difficult than just having to do it on a regular basis.
No, right. Yeah. I mean, that's what, like you said earlier. The repetition makes proficiency. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So yeah. So excuse me. So being proficient, it's what's gonna get you to where you want to get it. Especially, okay, what's the biggest group you've ever spoke in front of?
Maybe a few hundred.
Wow. See, I can't even comprehend how big that room must be. Because for me, the biggest, like I told you earlier, the bigger was maybe at the highest, maybe it was 33 people I've never met. And like I was telling you, I felt comfortable. But I don't understand, I guess repeating it over and over is making me think about it, and I'm understanding why. And that's my problem, see, that I have. I find it hard. I can stay consistent doing one thing for a little bit of time, and then I fall off. And I find it hard to come back. And it goes back to what I was saying. Like, I know I can see why my repetitions weren't being successful when I left that job, because I wasn't practicing it at all anymore. And for me, there was no way to, but the way I guess I could have gone and done it was finding something in the same realm, right? Where I could have kept doing some type of presentation, right?
Yeah, for sure. When now that you're talking, I kind of had a similar experience. So when I was a child, I had to do a lot of public speaking because my mother made me. And so I did it up until, I became an adult. And then once that happened, my mother can't really force me to do anything anymore. And so I stopped.
Right.
And so for years, I didn't do any kind of public speaking until I took that job where I had to present in front of senior management. And because I hadn't done it in such a long time, I was rusty. I was out of practice. And as I mentioned, those first few presentations were terrible. And so if I had just continued to do it all up until that point, I probably wouldn't have struggled so much with those presentations.
Right. Like when you said that you had that big group of over 100 people, like where do you direct your voice in that? Do you look at everybody in the forehead, over their heads, or what's would be the trick with those big groups? Because like I said, I personally only have experience with like small groups with like over 25, I'm going to say, because I don't remember the exact number.
Looking people in the eyes for a prolonged period of time is actually rather difficult for me. I was a member of, have you ever heard of Toastmasters?
Toastmasters? No.
Yeah. So it's an international organization whose goal is to help people improve their public speaking. They have chapters all over the world. And I was a member for a number of years in various chapters. And at one of the chapters that I was a member of, one of the other members said that when it comes to public speaking, you want to look people in the eyes for 3 seconds before moving on to the next person. And I tried doing that for a while, but I found it really difficult to look someone in the eyes for that long, because once I would do that, I'd forget what I was going to say next. And I figured, it's more important for me to remember what I'm talking about as opposed to looking people in the eye. So the way I got around that is I look at people's eyebrows. They can't tell the difference if you're looking in their eyes or not.
Right. Because it's the same at the same range where the eye is at. So yeah, so I understand why that would be. How that you would trick somebody to thinking you're looking at them in the eye. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I mean, because this is what I'm doing now. It's like way out of my realm because I have like this would be like my 86th episode. Actually, I started this by myself because I've been listening to podcasts since like 2012, and I've always wanted to. I always wanted to have conversations like this where people that have knowledge, like I get to share it with others that don't, but at the same time I get to learn something from people that know what they're doing. Basically, like you know what you're doing when you're talking to big groups like that. Obviously, for me that's scary. When you said 100, I was like, oh, my eyes widen up. I was like, whoa. But when I said 30, you were like, probably, oh, that's just probably like a Saturday night for you, right?
Well, I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Right.
You don't. I guess you don't really start with hundreds of people. You start just like you did at the smaller groups, and you build up from there. You build your confidence up to be able to speak to those bigger groups. I mean, it really isn't that much of a difference. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is keep people's attention by being interesting and by being engaging.
Right. So for a person like me, like I said, I'm not good at writing. Obviously, I'm no writer at all whatsoever. All I want to get good is at talking. I want to get good at it. I want to get where I don't mix my words like I'm doing right now. I get confused on what I'm saying because my mind is going, okay, what can I say? What could you do? What could you do? And all this, right? At the same time, it gets confusing. And I lose my train of thought a lot too. I just lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I'm sorry.
You were saying that you sometimes lose your train of thought.
Right? No, before that, it was.
Oh yeah, you're saying how sometimes you kind of struggle with public speaking in general.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I was saying that I don't write anything, but maybe I should. I recently started writing journals for me, just for myself, which I've noticed that's kind of helped me a lot into my like thinking, like ideas and stuff like that. It's helped me a lot. But what I wanted to ask was, what would you recommend for somebody like, obviously, like I repeat again, no book, no writing books and nothing like that. And my job doesn't require for me to talk to people. It's very minimum talking because I do construction. So I do the very minimum talking. What would you recommend me to seek for me to get good at public speaking? Something that I could do hands-on where I would have to. What would you recommend?
Well, I did mention Toastmasters. They're an excellent option.
What I'm sorry, I didn't. What is that?
Yeah, so it's an international organization, and they have chapters all over the world. They typically every chapter they meet once a week, and you have the opportunity to practice public speaking there. There's a typical meeting. It goes. Let's see. It starts off with impromptu speaking. So you'll be given a question, and you'll have to answer it just extemporaneously, just on the spot, with no preparation. So that helps in getting better in public speaking for sure, just being able to speak, off the cuff. And then there's also the prepared speech as part of the evening or of the meeting, where you prepared a speech, typically at least 5 minutes, probably 5 to 10 minutes, and you give the presentation in front of people, and you will have an evaluator that actually evaluates gives you what you did well, what you can improve on. And then also the other members of the group, typically they'll do their own evaluation, and they may tell you after your presentation how well you did. And so Toastmasters is excellent in terms of being given a forum to practice your public speaking, and it can work really well for someone like yourself, since you said that there isn't much public speaking in your job.
Right, for sure. And that's like a course you got to take, right? Obviously, right? And then you put it to the test when you go to that. Now, when you do those presentations where they give you the question, like we were saying right now, is that right now? given how the situation is with all the coronavirus and all that, right? Now, are they doing Zoom or are they doing in person?
Oh, you know what? That's a very good question. I didn't even think of that. So I haven't been a member for a few years, so even before coronavirus. So I don't know how they're doing it. But
Oh,
I
okay.
suppose if they were continuing to do it, it would have to be virtual.
Right, right. But that's different though than having a bunch of people in front of you, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've all had to kind of adapt to this new normal of not being able to be on site in front of people. So who knows when the on-site meetings for Toastmasters will start up again? I suspect it'll be around the same time when people start going back to work in larger numbers.
Right. You said you're in California, right?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego.
Oh, San Diego. Okay, I'm in Riverside, California. I'm like about an hour and a half away from you.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually go. We usually work out in that way a lot. Like every now and then, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, we were heading down there like the whole week. That traffic gets bad in the afternoon, man, on the way back.
Oh yeah, even now.
Yeah, it gets bad, especially right there where they have the truck inspection area. Man, that area sucks. If you get
Yeah,
stuck in an accident there, you're stuck there for hours.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How long did you say you've been doing the public speaking?
Well, I mean, I've been doing it since I started that job, and that was back in 2007. No, yeah, yes, 2007.
Okay.
But what really started, I guess, the course that I built on public speaking called Teach the Geeks to Speak, I started that a couple years ago. And again, the motivation was that were engineers and scientists like myself who struggle with public speaking and have to do it for their jobs and want to be able to get better at it. It really helps in just being able to move up in companies because typically the people that are the best with just communication in general are the ones that get noticed. Those are the ones that get the promotions.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Right. Because those are the ones that the more outspoken that can carry the conversation and handle it the way they want to handle it. Of course. So that makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Why would somebody advance if they're good at public speaking? Yeah. I mean, I remember in high school they had that course, but I thought it was just for like dumb people, what you would call dumb at the time, But I realize now that I was the dumb one for not taking that class because it would have been beneficial for me today. But it doesn't matter, right? We could always learn from our mistakes and go from there.
Yeah, youth is wasted on the young, that's for sure.
Man, a lot of years I wasted. We all did, but yeah. Now, so since 2007, right? You said you're a scientist?
Well, and engineer. So
And,
I worked in medical devices for a number of years.
oh, okay. Like for like just like general medicine or like devices or
Yeah, spinal devices, so spinal implants and instrumentation.
spinal. Oh, that's crazy, right? That's one thing that most people don't think about hurting, right?
Yeah, I mean, until I guess it's time, but especially when people get older, they may have bulging discs, those type of issues, and they might get surgeries to try to correct them. And I worked for companies that would develop the implants that orthopedic surgeons would use during those surgeries.
Wow. That's crazy. You made a whole switch from that to public speaking, right? Were you doing a lot of talking in that?
Yeah, so I was a project lead for the teams that I was on. So every month I'd have to give a presentation on progress for the projects that I was working on in front of senior management. So that's where it all really started.
Right. That's what you said at the beginning, right? That's where you did more of your talking with the senior management in front of them. Damn, that's got to be scary, like, because those people, their expectations is really, really high, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking the CEO, the VP of R&D, the VP of marketing, pretty much all the C-level people would be in that meeting. And so you would have thought that at least at the beginning, I would have taken more time or put in more effort into putting it on, trying to do as well as I could, but I didn't. But I noticed a whole lot of the other engineers that had to give those kind of presentations. They weren't all that much better at them than I was. So I definitely saw that there was a need for people like myself to just become more effective at public speaking.
Right, and you definitely done that. Yeah, that's cool, man. Like I said, I wish I could. I mean, I'm wishing, but I guess I am kind of working at it. But I've been thinking a lot about doing some something like an open mic or something. Would that be a good idea for public speaking?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that.
Is that too harsh?
Well, no. A couple of years ago, I actually did a 9-week, I guess you could call it a course in stand-up comedy.
Oh, okay.
And it was really interesting. So at the end of it, we had like essentially an open mic where everybody that was in the course got up and did, I think it was like 3 minutes. And that was rather nerve-wracking because not only are you speaking in front of people, but now you have to be funny too. So that adds another layer onto it. But I think I acquitted myself really well. I think if you're able to do that, you can do any kind of speaking.
Oh, okay. So that's like the top of the line where you really test out your skills.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because as I mentioned, it's not just talking in front of people. That's nerve-wracking enough for many. It's the funny part, like making people. Because if you don't make people laugh, then you fail.
Yeah, right. You bomb right there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. I've been thinking about that a lot. I like the idea of that, but I just don't think of myself as somebody funny. So that's why I'm like, okay, which other avenue I can research where I can get good. I'm just trying to look for my avenue where it would be more appropriate for me to get better at it.
Yeah, but I mean, as I mentioned, Toastmasters would probably be your best bet. But as you also said, groups probably aren't meeting in person right now, and everything is virtual. But you got if the choice is virtual or nothing, I'd say skip nothing and do virtual.
Right. Something's better than nothing, right? To be done,
Right.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, I get it, man. I see, and that's why I wanted to talk to you because, like, I didn't even what you said right there about the layers of like doing stand-up comedy in front of people. That adds a different layer. I didn't even think about that, but that's another layer, like, another extra hurdle that you add to your task.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and even though everything is virtual now, the fact that you're even doing this podcast, I mean, that's I'm sure that's helping you in just being more comfortable talking in front of people. So, every little bit helps.
It does, like I said, but it's in my head. I always fall 3 steps back every time I take 5 steps forward.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is key. For sure.
Right. Yes. I've come to know that. But like I said, there's things that I still got to work on a lot, and I know that the more I do this, the better I'll get at it, and eventually I plan of doing something like the course that you mentioned. What was the name again?
Toastmasters.
Toastmasters, right? I've been thinking of something of getting into something like that because, like I said, I really want to get good at having conversations and like being interesting and asking questions.
Yeah, I mean, I started my course, Teach the Geek to Speak, to help engineers and scientists because that's the group that I come from, and essentially the course is a few modules. It helps with before, during, and after speaking. But once you're finished the course, I offer various exercises that you can do to get better at it. But it requires you to be able to get in front of people to do it. At least with Toastmasters, you're given that audience right away.
Oh, okay. But okay, so then with your course, it's just the education part.
Yeah,
okay.
Because essentially it's an online course, so you do it, at your convenience. But then with the exercises, typically what people do is they'll do presentations at their job. If there are no opportunities to do any kind of public speaking at your job, certainly Toastmasters is a great option.
Right, I'll definitely take a look at that. Yeah, because like I said, like I keep telling you, I want to get good at this, talking to people, because yeah, this is what I've chosen that I want to do, and like I'm pursuing it, so I have to. There's no other option,
Wonderful.
Yes. All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate your time, though. I appreciate your words. It was wonderful. I appreciate your knowledge. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day and sharing that information with me, and so I can share it along the way. And if I can have the link for your class, so I can add it to my notes on the podcast and the YouTube channel and all that.
Yeah, sure.
You send me that, and then I'll put it up on there, and even on my Instagram, I'll do the whole deal for you too. I mean, I like I said, my platform is very small, but I want to help. I want to help you because what you're doing is amazing. It's wonderful what you're doing. It's just helping people get better at talking, which is one of the abilities that most of us are lacking nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll certainly send you those links.
All right, like I said, I appreciate your time, man. And again, thank you very much. I appreciate it for this call. Thank you.
You got it. Have a great day.
Thank you. Stay in contact, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you. So that was Neil at Teach the Geek. He has a course of on public speaking, which is an ability that most of us are lacking nowadays. So we all need to get good at talking to people. We all need to get good at expressing ourselves. So something to look at. So if you're interested, right there, they're on the notes on the podcast. So just go ahead and look at them. That'll be on the YouTube channel, and then I'll post it up on my Instagram too. And again, what we're doing here is giving our 2 cents.